attention on video.
Clowns.
Okay, so current events first. What happened in the world this week?
Trump's being an idiot.
Trump's being an
Oh,
idiot?
that's not news,
But that's gonna say, that's not news. We always knew Trump made these kind of comments in the,
Trump
Yes.
held a conference with some of the women that Bill Clinton was accused of having relationships with against their will, some of them, and
yes,
stuff.
If you guys vote for Hillary Clinton, that's so bad. All of
no, nobody here can vote.
it.
Anybody here vote? Anybody here eligible to vote?
Emily,
Emily?
No.
She's not going to, but she can.
She would.
I know, that's what I've been telling her. She won't listen to me.
4 more years.
If we got some time, I got the video to show you guys. It was pretty funny when I saw, based on the whole vote thing. I thought it turned out pretty good. Anything else in the news? You guys do anything current, your own current events?
The debate.
The debate, what debate? There were 2 of them, actually. So.
The presidential debate and the vice president debate.
Yeah, which one was the best?
Mike Pence.
Mike Pence? Some people are thinking that maybe what will happen is Mike Pence will actually, Donald Trump will go, I changed my mind, I'm not gonna run for president. I'll just let my VP run. And then
Like
Mike
that's
Pence,
gonna happen.
or after he wins the election, okay, yeah, I really didn't want to be president, so Mike Pence will be president. Yeah, he ain't gonna do that. I think Trump actually thinks he will do a good job of being president.
He'll do better.
And
Well, they're better than Hillary, let's be real, guys.
He can put good people in place.
that's what I'm hoping for. That's my hope.
He's
Is that he
elected.
will actually put good people in place. That's my only hope. Because unfortunately, Trump is very egotistical and stuff like that. And he needs some people around him who can control him, like his kids.
How many does
So-
he have? Like 5, and one of them's underage or something?
I don't know. I don't keep track of how many kids he has.
He's on his 3rd wife. He's got 5 kids from 3 different wives.
Yeah.
2 daughters and 3 sons.
I'm too busy with my own life trying to keep my own things straight to worry about how many kids he has.
Sprite.
You didn't want the lemonade?
I didn't, I wanted the orange soda, but they
I love
sold
it.
out, and then I wanted
No,
the Sprite,
wait,
and
no,
then they sold out of that, and so.
That's pretty awesome. That's lemonade.
frustrated.
I'm sorry, just let me get my.
I hate that.
This is not lemonade, oh my gosh.
What?
It's Sprite with a lemon tint. Thank you.
Oh, that's gross.
Pass it down.
It's Sprite with a
It's
lemon
not
tint.
Some high school kids
Isn't that
got
what
into the
lemonade
machine and
is?
changed it.
Okay, you guys, I'll take a drink.
Take a swig.
What else is in the news? What else was in the news this week?
Never mind, I don't like carbonated drinks.
School class passes around bottles of taste drink.
It's probably old.
This is homeschool life.
Before Jesus returns.
That could be.
Oh my gosh, wait, funny story. I saw this sign on the way home from church and it's, sorry, it said Jesus is coming soon, hopefully before the election.
Yeah.
And I started dying. I was like, yes, my church needs this right. It made me so happy.
Hey, did you see that there's a huge increase of hospitals in Ohio and all over the country? Everywhere there are these signs that it's a big blue H with an arrow.
Oh, yeah, the Hillary signs, they look like the hospital signs, yeah.
I would really like your local.
Symbolism.
Yeah, need mental health, that's right.
What's funny is I always see those like billboards online with like Jesus is watching.
I can't stand those type of billboards. The one that I always like, Jesus is the answer. Somebody tell me what the question is.
I'm gonna anything I can't answer like in this class or chemistry with Jesus.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yes. Not this class, because I
Yeah,
actually like
what,
it.
actually, if you know, that won't get you any points on the essay questions.
It really
That's why I said chemistry.
I'm confused.
Yeah. Well, it just depends. I mean, I guess if you might get a point on the bonus question if you put Jesus as the answer, but you'd only get 1 point.
Mr. Turkey,
Yes.
when I send an email out to the class, it's like this picture of like the Hillary's logo, and then we change it around and like make it all sorts of different things. It's pretty funny.
You have to send it through me first.
Okay.
And then if I deem it's appropriate, I would forward it on. I try to protect everybody's. Yes. So what else is in the news? Can't wait for the election to be over.
Yes.
29 days.
Actually, no. I've been waiting for this day since the day I found out that Obama had been elected instead of Romney.
Ooh, I heard a question.
What?
If you had three options, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, or 4 more years of Obama.
Wait, what?
4 more years of Obama. I think Trump.
Wait, what did you say?
If you had to choose between 3 things, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, and 4 more years of Obama.
Yeah, I hate Obama. So Trump.
I had to say,
How about go to the moon?
We can start
there's
our
no
own.
colony there.
Well, we can start our own colony on the moon.
The only thing is, if you move to the moon, would you have representation there?
We would.
They still
all
impose
over.
taxes.
You
I
can
don't know. What are
fly.
you gonna make?
You can fly on
What are you gonna build? Yeah,
A crater, that's what I'm gonna build.
rocks.
you can make a really big golf course.
I can hit
that you can
Obama
hit.
in the head with the crater.
Isn't it funny how we've never, like, from Earth, we've never seen the other side of the moon?
Correct. The dark side?
Yeah, I wanna know what's.
Join the dark side.
But like,
That's the side with clown faces.
Wait,
For real? So you're my favorite teacher.
We have it, it goes like, we turn, but the moon.
The moon as it turns the same way with
Yeah,
us. Its rotation is 1 day. So as it's moving around, it's rotating on its axis at the same point, so we never see the dark side.
You know what happens on the dark side?
The dark side of the moon. I had a professor who actually, when you do, so here's an example. If you're on a train and you got somebody who throws the ball on the train, and he can throw the ball, the train's moving 60 miles an hour, and he throws the ball 50 miles an hour, how fast is the ball going? The train is moving 60 miles an hour. The person on the train throws a ball 50 miles an hour. How fast is the ball traveling?
50 miles an hour.
It depends on your frame of reference. If your reference is you're in the train, the ball's traveling 50 miles an hour. If your frame of reference is outside the train, then it depends on which way he's throwing the ball. Is he throwing it with the train or is he throwing it against the train? And then you gotta add the two together because then it would be 110 miles an hour.
Is he throwing it at someone?
That's true. So see, it always depends on your frame of reference. So I had a professor in my, what we call kinematics, which is the study of motion. In the class, his frame of reference was always the dark side of the moon. Everything was referred to as the reference from the dark side of the
I
moon.
just can't not think about moon.
There's actually a song, or an album, The Dark Side of the Moon.
Something.
I'm trying to remember the name of the group. It's been like 20 years since I was in class. Yes,
Okay, so
30 years. Sorry.
according to the Democrats, if he throws it at somebody, if he throws it at a woman, he's sexist. If he throws it at somebody who's a different race than him, he's racist. And if he throws it at somebody who's the same race and gender as him,
No, if he
he's
throws
just
it at a
like-
white person, it's justified. Here's an interesting thing that I wanted to discuss in this class today, was there is a pastor in New York, I can't remember the guy's name, who is actually taking a stand saying that we in this church will not talk about all lives matter. We are only going to talk about that Black lives matter.
Really?
Is he right or is he wrong?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking the whole class.
Stupid and who needs to go to Louis then?
So
No way.
this pastor is saying that right now that, that just like in other times when Christians took a stand on things, that Christians need to take a stand with the Black Lives Matter crowd and stand with them, and we should be talking about all lives matter.
So all lives don't matter? 'Cause that's what he's saying.
That's basically, and to think otherwise, you're racist. Go ahead, you're in my class, you can say what's on your mind, that's what I want you to do.
All right, here's the problem.
Okay,
Come on, Michaela.
It's so many
I know there are so many things to say.
Okay, well, that's not how it works. Like, okay, if someone's like, okay,
Go ahead,
our
you're not gonna get in trouble for anything you say.
like our purpose in life isn't to go with the crowd, it's to stand out. We're not supposed to just say Black Lives Matter. We're supposed to say all lives matter, therefore Black Lives matter.
Correct.
That's my
Oh,
thing.
that's good, that's really good.
Thank you, I'm
I
really
want-
proud of that.
You
I
should-
should be a pastor myself. I wouldn't be there.
I
I just,
You should be a motivational speaker.
oh, no,
Slash
I would be
thing.
like, no,
She doesn't like being in front of people.
I don't.
Really?
You're gonna die. I know.
I don't
Yeah.
have any.
No,
I survived.
as Christians, should we be concerned about the plight of the inner city and what's going on?
Yes.
Right,
Oh my gosh.
but as Christians, should we be joining with a political group?
No.
This is the problem I also have with the religious right, is that in many cases, the religious right took stands to be with conservatives and Republicans to stand up against abortion and stuff like that. Have we eliminated abortion? No, we haven't, because we made it a political issue rather than a heart issue. And the same thing here. If I have a political issue with Black Lives Matter, because the only thing Black Lives Matter is going after, in my case, that I see, is police officers shooting black people, whether they're guilty or not. And that's, I have a problem with. Nobody talks about the fact that up in Cleveland last week, there was 2 children that were shot because of drive-by shooting in the inner city. Where were the protests? There weren't any. And that's the issue that that's kind of where I look at it, that all lives matter and that we shouldn't be singling something out. Same thing with the fact that we shouldn't be taking special treatment. 2 police officers were shot out in California running a domestic violence. Should we as Christians go, well, we're going to counter Black Lives Matter and say Blue Lives Matter? No, we shouldn't.
That confused me at first because I'm like,
Well, blue is because that's what
no,
police
I
officers
get it
typically wear.
now.
From a standpoint, my brother is a firefighter. I'm concerned that he's going to go on a run and somebody's going to target white people because, and especially police officers, firefighters, any kind of guys that work in these situations, or women, and shoot people.
There have actually been 2, just in the past like month, 2 different things that happened at Kroger. So it's like down south, in like North Carolina. It's like a grocery store.
Yeah, and there used to be a Kroger where I,
Yeah.
in Indiana.
But there are 2 different like scenarios where 2 people came in wearing police supporting shirts, and first one, the cashier asked, "Are you on the force?" And after the girl said, "Yeah, I'm a cop," she's like, "Well, I can't serve you." And not that she can, but she wouldn't.
Right.
But then Kroger didn't even like come out and say like we apologize. They just kind of like shoved it underneath the rug. Then it happened again, and I just heard about it yesterday.
See,
Now,
my opinion, it kind of goes back to that idea of, we were talking about Christians, whether we, if there's a wedding, we talked about that earlier, in the earlier one today. If there's a wedding, should Christians serve, bake the cake, or take the pictures? I don't believe that we should ever say, listen, I'm not gonna help you. As Christians, we should always do our best, no matter who they are. So I have a friend, and he says, yeah, I couldn't serve, I couldn't do that. I feel like I'm endorsing that person. And I go, well, look at it this way. my first thing is if I'm a photographer, because I can't bake, if I'm a photographer and somebody came to me and said, listen, this is a guy, my husband and I, we're gonna get married. Okay, well, I want to just let you know, I am a Christian. But I'm going to do the best that I can. But if you don't want me to do it because I'm a Christian, I have no problem with that. But I'm going to do the best job I can for that person, because again, I'm not saying I agree with this, but I'm saying that as a Christian, I'm going to speak to your heart as to how I should live my life. And the Bible's clear when Paul spoke in his letters about the master and the slave. He says, slave, and this, as Americans, we need to look at master is management, the boss. The slave is the employee. How are we to act as the employee? Paul's clear that we should do our best, as if we're serving unto God himself. So I think we just have to be careful of how we approach those things. And personally, I'd have fired the person. There'd been immediate grounds for termination, in my view, for not serving the police officer. A couple of, not too long ago, the WNBA was going to do a protest against the basketball players who were going to come out wearing anti-police garb. So all of the police officers that were scheduled to protect and be on duty for security for the stadium all refused. Pretty much all of them refused to serve.
Like that for the singer. Like, I think it was Beyonce or something that came out and was like, anti-police, and then she didn't get an escort out of the stadium.
Correct.
And she called them. She's like, "Hey, I need an escort." And they're like, "No."
Nope, we're busy. Yep. I think that's the thing. People should have consequences for the choices they make. Yes.
You know what they were busy doing? Protesting against Beyonce. No, I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think they took the time.
Mr. Sharkey.
Yes.
But I think that if somebody were to come to a cake shop that was lesbian or gay and ask for a cake made, I think it would make more of an impact on them if they were to say, sure, I'll make the cake.
Yep.
I'm a Christian, but sure, I'll make it.
Yep. I think so too. I will do, and I think we should be, I am a follower of Jesus, and because of that, I don't agree with your lifestyle, but I am called to be a light unto the world, and I'm going to make you the best cake I can. And again, we have to remember we are not in a Christian America anymore. We are a post-Christian America. So we can no longer think that we have political clout in the world, in this country, because Christians do not have political clout. In fact, I was listening to WCRF the other day, and they were talking about, wow, Christian groups are out there doing this. I'm like, we need to stop doing that. We need to stop saying we're a Christian group. We need to stop saying Christian radio. We need to stop saying we're this. I think we should just eliminate the whole thing of Christian. Not saying that we don't say we're Christian, but the fact that we need to stop labeling ourselves as Christian. We need to stop saying there's an us and there's a them. No, we need to say this is the truth and only focus in on what is the truth. And then people will look at, well, why are you different then? Why are you always happy? Well, let me tell you about Jesus Christ. And I used to be like you. I used to be not happy. I used to be stuck in that sin lifestyle, and I was never happy. Let me tell you about why now I do have that joy. And it's not always easy, but let me tell you why things are different. And that's what we need to be more of, because we are definitely in that post-Christian time period. And we got to be careful about how we how we handle things. And sometimes labels get us in more trouble than just being who we are. Sometimes we wear that Christianity out there so much that people can't see the real relationship between us and Christ. They don't see the difference. And that's another thing too, is Christians, many Christians don't act different than the world. And that's another problem that we have. We need to be different. And we need to stop acting it, and it can't just be a label saying Christian radio. Let's be different. There's a lot of Christian music groups out there that say they're Christian, that I listen to some of their music and I go, what do you mean you're Christian? And then there's groups out there that don't claim to be Christian, but yet they are, in many cases I like secular music much better than I like Christian music. Just because there's a lot of songs that Pink sings that deal with human life at its essence and what it means. And I think sometimes in Christian music we get so caught up on just praising God with everything we sing about that we miss those things in life that people are really legitimately struggling with. Yes?
It's part of the reason I like the group Casting Crowns, because they speak about like those issues. One of their songs, Love You with the Truth, it's just like, it deals with like what we talked about earlier, about like friends that aren't saved.
Now, what do you classify Christian music as? Because I know at my church my pastor is very particular about what we sing as a worship song, because there are a lot of Christian songs today that are about the problems and persecutions of us, but they aren't necessarily about God.
Right.
So, like, what do you classify a Christian song as?
See, now that's an interesting point, because there are songs that you sing in service as worship songs to God, and I have nothing wrong with that. But on the day-to-day, what I listen to, that does not fit in. Now, sometimes it's nice because I might be in the mood for that, but in many respects, what I generally classify as Christian music is those that market themselves as Christian music. So, there's a couple of groups out there. 21 Pilots got some really good songs, and they're supposedly Christian, but they don't market their music into the Christian market. Who is it?
Graspperplex?
Katy Perry started out in the Christian music genre and switched over to something else. Somebody's trying to get a hold of me. Okay, turn that down. Actually, no, you don't.
You'll never be.
Oh, you set yourself up for that one. I'm sorry. You laid that softball out there and she hit it. Oh, you don't have to go. It's okay. We still like you.
No, we don't.
You're brutal today. Brutal.
How did you get your pencil back?
Why, did you guys steal his pencil?
Yeah, like 80 years ago.
What?
How did you get that
Okay.
back? We stole your pencil, I want to know.
So we'll continue to talk about.
That's so funny. You want to put my boots on the table? Wait, I'm not wearing boots.
So last week we covered the first 8 of these principles. The genius of natural law. Your legs aren't long enough. A virtuous and morally strong people. Elect virtuous leaders. These 2 are key. Problem is, look at this election. Are we electing virtual and moral, virtuous leaders from either candidate?
You made it funny.
Yeah, I know, it's hilarious. Or how about any of the candidates we follow? I mean, how about the third-party candidates? Not many of them follow this either. If Christians followed this rule more, we wouldn't have Trump and Hillary running for office. Huh?
There'd be no one left to run for office.
There would be, you'd have to find people who admitted that they're sinners, and yeah.
Wait, let's all elect Mr. Sharkey.
Amen. I'll be your president.
Good idea.
I don't know if I'd.
Then who'd be our history teacher then?
I'd fly over on Air Force One and.
Or we
Again, the foundation of of a good, solid government is the people, which, in order to have that, to have a virtuous people and virtuous leaders, we need to have a, you have to have religion. You have to have a creator. The other thing that we get into is all men are created equal. Equal rights, not equal things, and man's unalienable rights. And interesting,
Remember how you said like the equal rights and things? I saw a picture and it showed a track race. Everyone started out the same thing, it said equal rights, and then it showed the end where they weren't all the same and said not equal things. I was like,
correct. Yeah, that's exactly. If we were to look at, it's so funny. We instinctively get it. We understand equal rights, but not equal things. But when it starts to, when politicians get a hold of that, they generally frame it in, well, it's not fair that this person has more money. Well, it's not fair that Usain Bolt is far faster than I am. I think I should at least be able to time him. And I'm fast as a white guy, but I'm not that fast. I mean, we got
Michaela, are you
So, I mean, it's those things that get us in trouble. I have certain gifts that you guys have, and you guys have certain gifts that I don't have. That's what's so amazing about God's creation is He gave us this ability to be different. It's like Paul describes it as being the body of Christ. Some are the feet, some are the head. Well, the head can't get anywhere without the feet. And certainly if we don't have hands, we can't eat. When we don't have a mouth, we can't eat. We don't have a stomach, we can't digest the food. So the body of Christ, the body of humanity is the same way. Without the unique talents we have, we don't get anywhere. If everybody was stinking robots, which actually a lot on the left would like to see us all be robots, then we just go to work and that the ruling elite tell us what we can do and what we can't do, and we all be happy, and that would be life. Well, guess what? That life turns out to be nothing because there's nobody there to use their unique talents in those special ways. So the role of revealed law. We talked a little bit about this when we were looking at Blackstone. Sound principles law are all based on God's law, or what in many respects people call the natural law is another way of looking at it. Divine law endows mankind with unalienable duties as well as unalienable rights. It's not only that you have rights, but you have duties. First duty is you have to be able to take care of yourself. And you should take care of yourself. Nobody else should be taking care of you.
"Well, what point?"
To whatever point you have to.
Well, like, 'cause I don't think my parents take care of me, but like,
Well, there's an obligation until you're a certain age, but hopefully if your parents are doing it right, then by the time you're 18, you're ready to be able to basically be on your own. And unfortunately, some people don't get there. One of the biggest problems we have with the inner city and in poverty, and this is, I get so frustrated because everybody thinks when you talk poverty, you're only talking black. When we're talking poverty, we're talking all races. It is across the board, In fact, there are probably more white people poor than there are black people that are poor, if you look at the statistics. But unfortunately, we have a news media that portrays, unfortunately, the black as the poor. And that's what's sad, because they have an agenda. They want to put a face to it. And so they want to make you feel guilty. And go to, anybody ever gone on a mission trip to West Virginia? You get to West Virginia and you get in the backwoods of West Virginia and you see the poverty of the white people and you go, oh my goodness. Watch the TV series Justified. You want to see a bunch of portrayed as dumb white hicks? Oh my goodness. Watch that TV show. It's one of the best TV shows that I've ever seen, other than Person of Interest.
Oh my gosh, I love that show.
I know, I was so disappointed when they got rid of it.
I know.
But it ended well. It did end well. Huh?
NCIS is better.
I like NCIS too.
See, I like
Yeah, I like NCIS.
I
LA.
did not finish
that's
that.
what I
I
think.
don't like
The 10th season, I
Well,
can't finish it.
See,
I really like the
I like,
Wiltons.
I just
know
keep
a lot
doing
of movies like this Wolf of
Shelter.
Firefighter,
Yeah.
Hey.
I like it.
Law and Order's good too.
It's on.
Okay, so the 10th principle, sovereignty of the people. This is that idea. Oh, that came out. When did that come out? That's ugly.
That's a racist.
Got me. Oh my goodness, I'm so in trouble. Somebody slap me. I'm just kidding. There we go.
racism.
I know. We're gonna have to cancel class. Everybody's gotta go to sensitivity training.
The way that he said that to you, like,
Hey, you two, you gotta ban this video now.
And then, divine right of kings. You guys remember from, your world history classes, King Louis, I am the state.
oh my.
And there was this idea that they were divinely appointed by God to rule people. And in fact, that's probably what Hillary believes today, would be my guess as well. So the problem that you had, and this is the beauty of England, is England fought against this with Parliament and the Magna Carta. So in the 1600s, the kings believed they had divine right to rule. 1683, King Charles II beheads Algernon Sidney for his comment that the right to rule was actually in the people. And that same year, John Locke flees to Holland. He basically says the same thing. He then helps plot the overthrow of King Charles II and returns later to write his 2 essays.
Could you imagine seeing a beheading?
Well, we
Yeah.
kind of watched that a little bit in the earlier show.
Oh, we watched it?
The guy lost his head.
Oh, yeah.
We watched a scene from the movie The Patriot.
Oh.
Like, I was talking to
My
someone,
mom-
Cannonball took a guy's head off.
I was talking to someone at work who wants to be an EMT and said that he was at a accident where, like, I forget if he said it was a kid or not, but he lost his head.
Mhm.
They carried that out. It was like,
You can go online and unfortunately find the ISIS videos of them torturing people.
yeah, I tried searching like a couple things from it, not like the beheading, but like a couple things about ISIS, and I had to be careful.
Yeah. Yep. New view, Alexander Hamilton, the fabric of an American empire ought to rest on the solid basis, the consent of the people. The streams of national power ought to flow immediately from the pure original foundation of all legitimate authority. James Madison had the same view on this, and he wrote this in Federalist Paper 46. I'm not going to get into it. The 11th principle, who can alter the government? The majority. The majority of the people may alter or abolish the government which has become tyrannical. And here's the thing. Was the American Revolution a majority revolution or a minority revolution? The majority of the people just wanted to live their lives. In fact, it was the majority of the leadership who actually wanted to do that. It turns out that once the revolution happened, the majority got on board, but for the most part, it was the minority started revolution. Declaration of Independence. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light or transient causes. So when we declared our independence, we're not saying that this is something that we're taking lightly. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. Meaning, like today, we are willing to deal with taxation that doesn't seem fair, the taking of our freedoms and stuff like that before we get to the point where we will revolt. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their security. Majority versus minority, power rests within the majority, not the rights to revolt in the minority, which they actually, like I said, did not necessarily follow. The advantages of a republic. Democracies have ever been spectacles of turbulence and contention, never been found incompatible with personal security. A republic by which the government in which the scheme of representation takes place opens a different prospect and promises the cure for which we are seeking. Again, James Madison also wrote in support of that. Madison offered a concise definition of a republic. It's a government which derives its power directly or indirectly from a great body of the people. Without seeing a majority means that if 51% of you vote to allow something, it happens. And a republic, you get representation. Starting in the early 1900s, movement came about to tie democracy and socialism together, which would consider both to be unconstitutional. So principle 13, protection against human frailty. The Constitution should be structured to permanently protect the people from the frailties of the rulers. Government is a coercive force. Our founders understood that government can be the greatest evil in the world because it has the power of the sword to take people's life. And leaders are not angels, but fragile human beings, and they make mistakes. And that's why the Constitution limited the federal power. And that's why Obama said, well, we need to not have a Constitution that says that's what we shouldn't do. We should have a Constitution that tells us what we should do, what we ought to do for the people. And that's, again, a very unconstitutional view of our government. The danger of losing constitutional rights. Said, I believe there are more instances of the abridgment of the freedom of the people by gradual and silent encroachments of those in power than by violent and sudden usurpation. So he feared more government slowly taking your rights away and limiting what you could do. Think of the EPA. Can you do what you want with your own land? Try adding addition onto your house. You got to go get this permit. You got to get that permit. You got to get this. And then it not only changes, they were working on a new septic system up at Stony Glen Camp. And, well, they got it approved by the EPA when it originally started. When they went back for final EPA approval, the people in charge of the EPA were not the same people that approved it the first time. They denied it. It's like, wait a minute, this was already approved preliminary by this group. No, we don't like it. So they had to go in and reconvince this other group to go along with it. It's like, that's not freedom. That's tyranny. 14th principle, property rights essential to liberty. Life and liberty are secure only as long as the right to property is secure. Without property rights, government would be tend to completely destroy the incentive of an industrious person to develop or improve any of your property. The industrious individual would be also deprived of the fruits of your labor. Your money, the money you make, is a fruit of your labor. Just as much as if you made a tangible product. Marauding bands would be even tempted to go about the country confiscating by force and violence the good things which others had frugally and painstakingly provided. Think about if you work in some sort of a city, you might have to, there might be a gang that says, listen, you gotta pay protection or we're gonna come in here and people are gonna steal from you or break your legs or do whatever. That still happens in some parts. It's really bad in Russia. You have to get in and bribe everybody to get things done. Mankind would be impelled to remain on a bare sustenance level of hand-to-mouth survival because accumulation of anything would invite attack. That's why we have to have property rights. A person's property is projection of life itself because your efforts, your time goes into it. And there's some more lists there. Free market economics. This goes along with the principles of private property. If you don't have the ability to do what you want, the free market, and if you have an idea, it is not right for Apple to come in and take your idea when you had it and it's yours, just because they have more money than you. This is that thing of the free market. A great example of, there's a company out there that had a logo that was similar to Apple. They had it before Apple was ever founded. Do you know Apple sued them for infringement of trademark and won? And this was a small mom and pop company that had been around for years before even Apple started, and Apple won. So that's one of those things that we need to look at is, are we truly free? And I'll send you guys some of this stuff. Adam Smith's Free Enterprise. It really can be boiled down into these 4 laws of economic freedom. Freedom to try, the freedom to buy, the freedom to sell, and with all this, you have to have the freedom to fail. One of the things that we most do today in America is we want to protect people from failing. Here's one for you, Michaela. Every time you kick the ball, do you get a goal? Every time you kick the ball at the goal, do you get a goal? No. Well, yeah, that's why I asked Michaela and not you.
No, he asked me because I'm black. That's why.
Didn't come back.
It always comes back to that, doesn't it?
Exactly.
So, the thing is, though, because you don't score all the time, does that not increase the value of scoring a goal? If hitting a home run was easy, would we celebrate hitting a home run? No, we wouldn't, because it's not easy. That's why it's celebrated. Usain Bolt. Why do we celebrate Usain Bolt winning another gold medal? Or Phelps winning all his gold medals? Because it's hard, not because it's easy, because so many other people fail at it. That's what makes it amazing. Separation of powers. Of course, we'll get into that more in government. Government should be separated in 3 branches. And we understand that because when you have the separation of power, no one government can, no one person can take on all that power. Checks and balances. We need to have a system that each branch needs to be able to check the other. Because if not, then one branch becomes more power, and we want to stop that. The other thing is we need to have a written constitution and not a living, breathing document, as some people say. Well, the Constitution needs to be a living, breathing document. We don't want that because the rights of the people are preserved in the principles of government are set forth in a written constitution. Because if it's not in a written constitution, people can do what they want. And so I said I would end class today with a neat video. I don't know if you saw this.
Schoolhouse Rock.
Famous.
Oh.
I'm just about to begin my journey back.
Okay.
Election day is Tuesday, November 8th. I know this because some famous actors told me.
Thanks, famous actors.
Thanks, famous actors.
Thanks, famous actors.
I had no idea.
No idea.
I was just thinking sometime in December, maybe January.
Wait, it's this year?
I thought it was over. It turns out this election is important. Really important.
Really important.
Really, really important.
Because I thought it was, no big deal.
Again, thanks, famous actors, because it's times like these when we realize just how lucky we are to have.
Famous Hollywood actors.
To guide us.
They know stuff we just don't know.
Stuff we can't know.
Because we're not famous actors. And they're not just acting smart.
They are smarter.
They are smart. And thank goodness they made it clear that we must vote for Hillary. I could have made a terrible mistake without their help.
I thought Clinton deleting all those emails was
Dishonest and corrupt.
And put our national security at risk.
But now we know it was all just an accident.
Just an accident.
It was just an accident.
An accident that could happen to any of us. I mean, who among us?
couldn't accidentally hit the delete button 30,000 times.
30,000 times?
30,000 times.
I'm actually quite embarrassed. I was going to vote for Trump before checking with Scarlett and
Robert or
that little dude who was in something.
I mean, I almost voted for Donald Trump just because he knows how to turn things around. Wants to secure our borders.
protect our religious freedoms.
Wipe ISIS off the face of the earth. Off the face of the earth.
Let American companies compete on an even playing field.
And let us keep more of our hard-earned money.
But now I know, thinking that way was just plain
It was just plain deplorable.
deplorable. Let's be honest. When a bunch of famous actors take time out of their busy day
To have their driver take them to the studio so they can look right into the camera.
And share their collective wisdom and insights. Well,
you just have to pay attention.
I just wish they would offer their advice more often.
like
Where to invest my money?
how to raise my kids, whether I should take that job in Cincinnati.
what that lump is on my elbow.
Well, they certainly were right about one thing. Your vote really does matter.
Really does matter.
Your vote does matter. So on November 8th, please join us in sending a loud and clear message.
To each and every one of those Hollywood Einsteins.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
For nothing.
For nothing.
For nothing.
Thanks for nothing.
First I thought that was a Hillary commercial.
Me too.
I think the famous actor one was a
Yeah, the famous actor one, or the original one, was a bunch of famous actors coming out, and they were supporting Hillary. Yeah, I think it might be this one.
On Tuesday, November 8th, this country will make one of the most important decisions in its history. You have a chance
You have an obligation.
to be a part of that decision.
You might think it's not important. You might think you're not important.
But that's not true. And the only way we can prove that to you is by having lots of famous people.
Lots of famous people.
Lots and lots of famous people. Just a shit ton of famous people. Repeating how important.
Important.
How important it is.
Register.
Register.
Vote.
Famous people.
Some of us aren't as famous, but still pretty famous.
Like, you've seen us somewhere.
Sometimes a not famous person will be mixed in with the famous ones
They drive the message home.
because of their unpolished sincerity.
Their unpolished sincerity.
But you only get this many famous people together if the issue is one that truly matters to all of us.
A disease or
Ecological crisis or
A racist, abusive coward who could permanently damage the fabric of our society.
Do the math. Do we really want to give nuclear weapons to a man whose signature move is firing things?
But we can end this nightmare before it begins.
We can save the day.
For our children.
For our children.
For our children. For our communities.
Our communities.
For our communities.
For America.
For America.
For America.
All it takes is all of us.
All of us.
All of us.
We cannot pretend both sides are equally unfavorable.
We can't say one vote doesn't matter.
Your vote matters,
Your vote matters. It affects everything.
not just the presidency, but the Senate,
The House.
your local officials,
Immigration.
Student debt, common sense gun laws.
The Supreme Court. See, this isn't just an election, it's a tipping point.
for the country,
For the world.
for your world.
If you don't know how or where to register,
Go to SaveTheDay.vote.
SaveTheDay.vote.
Make yourself heard.
Tell the world that you care about what happens to it.
And if you do vote,
And help protect this country from fear and ignorance.
Mark will do a nude scene in his next movie.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo will do a nude scene in his next movie.
Wait, what? What?
Mark will do a nude scene.
Mark's gonna have his dick out.
Full Monty.
Full Marky.
No. Go SaveTheDay.vote. Well, nobody talked about.
Save the day
Make Mark be naked.
By making your mark on November 8th.
They should just vote because it matters, you know? Don't you think?
We're all in this together. That's why the most popular or memorable actor is the last one you see.
Really?
Yeah, really.
That was wrong.
Yeah, wasn't it?
It's like, it's almost like they're trying to bribe these people.
Oh, yeah, it's all about, getting to the, popular culture.
It's like with nude scenes.